This story really disturbed me. I think it's probably the most disturbing story I've read in a long time. And you listen to this show, you hear what we talk about, and this story really depressed me. It's disgusting, and it's just it's I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. Let me just read here. This is from the Tampa Bay Times. This is the story of a man, 51-year-old man. I'm going to add right now a 51-year-old black man, Allen Daniel Hicks Sr., who was found stopped in his car on the side of Interstate 275 in Florida by a sheriff's deputy and a Florida Highway Patrol trooper on the morning of May 11th, 2012. Passerbys had called 911 after they saw Hicks swerving into a guardrail, and they ended up, they thought he was drunk. So it's just, I'm sorry, give me a second here. This story is just disturbing as can be. So anyway, the police showed up, and Mr. Hicks began speaking incoherently and was unable to move his left arm. So what did the police do? They arrested him on a charge of obstructing law enforcement officers because he would not respond to commands to exit his car.
Unbelievable.
He was booked into jail just after noon that day. Hicks did not receive medical screening. He was put in a jail cell where he lay face down on the floor. He tried to crawl using the one side of his body that was working. And on the night of May 12th, soaked in his own urine, his brain choked of blood, he was taken to Tampa General Hospital and diagnosed with an ischemic stroke. Excuse me if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. He slipped into a coma, and he died 3 months later. So I'm just gonna. This story is just all over the place, and I just really think it's important to cover this. I just want to give me a second here. Basically, what happened here was the police showed up, and the officers say they did not detect any odor of any alcoholic beverage, but he was behaving in an erratic state. And when he was asked for his driver's license, he picked up the lid to the center console and dropped it. He continued to claw at the console until the police officer himself reached inside and retrieved the wallet to look for his identification. I mean, this right here shows there's something wrong. The police officers became to worry that Hicks did not obey commands to show his hands or exit the car. But however, this didn't, tell them, this didn't spark something in their brains that, this man is sick, something's wrong. No, instead, they saw that his left hand was drooping into the side pocket of the driver's door. That shows, I'm not a medical professional, but I've known people who've suffered from stroke. That's the most clearest obvious sign that someone's suffering from some form of stroke. However, they saw his hand drooping into the side pocket of the driver's door, and the police officers pulled their guns on him. The man was so out of it that all he could repeat was, "That's a 9mm semi-automatic gun that you have there." So they proceeded to realize, once they realized he was unarmed, they proceeded to pull him out of the car from the passenger door and handcuff him. 36 hours he spent in the jail cell. 36 hours. 3 nurses that night checked on him. One nurse even thought he was feigning his injury and could walk. When he finally did receive a medical assessment, an internal review found that they did not diagnose a stroke, but instead suggested he be monitored as a psychiatric patient. 36 hours, I want to reiterate. During that time, he was transferred to another jail. Finally, after 36 hours, he was taken to Tampa General Hospital, where he was diagnosed as suffering a subacute ischemic stroke, which he had been suffering from a considerable length of time. He had suffered from severe brain damage, and it was too late to administer the appropriate treatment, the hospital said. The hospital was absolutely appalled by the way this man was treated while under the care of the police officials. Hicks died 3 months later on August 7th. Now, the reason I bring this story up is there's a settlement. The family of this man will be receiving $1 million. But the reason I bring this up is because there's a load of issues here. Number one, I just want to put this out there right now. Reason I said he was a black man is because I highly doubt if this was some 51-year-old white woman, they would have never treated her this way. If it was some elderly white man, they would have never treated him this way. They would have found him pulled over. They would have seen those signs of a stroke. Whether they would have known it was a stroke or not, that's completely another issue that I'm going to get into. But they would have not perceived this person as a threat. They would have knew this person at the very least needed medical treatment of some sort, whether it be physical or mental. The next issue here is the police do not know how to recognize not only stroke symptoms, but a multitude of symptoms of a multitude of issues, whether it be physical or mental. Especially mental issues. Police do not know how to deal even with people suffering from mental health issues. And here we have this. They believe the reason, through reviews, independent reviews, they believe the reason that he was taken to the hospital was because for years a South Florida company have held lucrative contracts to treat prisoners at the Hillsborough County Jail where Allen Daniel Hicks Jr. Sr. was taken. This company, Armor Correctional Health Services Incorporated, receives tens of thousands of dollars, I believe, per day to treat these patients. And these are the same patients, those nurses who looked at him and thought he was faking it, worked for Armor Correctional Health Services Incorporated. They will be paying $800,000 to Hicks's estate. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office will be paying $200,000. $1 million is not going to bring this man back. It is not fair to this family that this is a stroke he suffered. A stroke every second counts. 36 hours. If you're taken to the hospital immediately after suffering a stroke, the damage done could be minuscule. This is literally life-saving minutes, seconds. And he was sitting on the bottom, he was laying on the floor of a jail cell for 36 hours, soaked in his own urine as his brain bled out. And what the sheriff's office has to say is there will be new training on recognizing stroke symptoms for the deputies and the Armor administrative employees. This is a clear mistake that was made, they said, and it's a lesson learned.
No one's going to jail?
No one's going to jail. Oh, the only thing the most that's happened was the jail revoked security clearance of 2 Armor administrative employees, basically saying they can't work in that jail.
You're going to have to go somewhere else and let people die of strokes.
Armor, the health service company, didn't fire them. So, yeah, they could go to any jail.
Just go to another jail. It's just like the church moving a pedophile priest to another parish.
It's a man dying, a black man dying, it's a learning moment. And I just want to point out this one disgusting thing. While I applaud the Tampa Bay Times for really covering this, Peter Jamieson, the writer of this article, wrote as the headline, "Inmates untreated, fatal stroke results in $1 million settlement by Hillsborough Sheriff Jail Medical Provider." Inmates untreated stroke. Inmate. As if this man, if you just read the headline here, which I'm sure there's plenty people who do that, you would just assume there's this guy who was in jail, probably because he belonged there. Maybe he was a violent criminal. Maybe he was a pedophile. Maybe he did something horrible. This man is called an inmate because he was arrested and put in jail because he suffered a stroke. He couldn't respond to the police. That's why they brought him in jail. That's why he brought him to the jail and charged him with obstructing justice or not responding to officers' commands. He was unable to respond to the officer's commands because he was suffering a stroke. So he's an inmate, yes, effectively, because he did the amazingly criminal activity of suffering a stroke. It's really a disgusting story. I just don't know what else to say about it.